everybody, this is John and I am here to teach you how to make my favorite recipe for Indian food. It's something I've come up with on my own. It's called Maharaja Curry, and I'm going to make two different preparations of it, two versions of it. One is going to be chicken, family friendly, not too spicy, and then the other is going to be with lamb, and that'll be very spicy. I'm going to be using ghost chilies in that. So to start off with curry and Indian food, let me show you some things that you might not know if you just pick up some Indian spice packets at the store. First thing is that if you pick up something pre-made in the store and you try to cook with it just by adding it to some meat and veggies, it will not taste like Indian food at a restaurant or that you find in India. And the main reason is because it's missing three things. We've got some red onions or shallots. I'm using shallots right now. I think they've got a little bit better flavor. So you need these. Then I've got fresh garlic chopped finely. This is a must. And then next is fresh ginger, also chopped finely. These three are the base for Indian food. Right here I've also got the ghost chilies. That's if you want it to be pretty hot. The other thing I'll be using, not using all dishes, but these are bay leaves. And then of course you have the curries themselves. These are normally dry powders, but you add water to them to make a paste so they're easier to work with and so that they're evenly spread through the food. So let's head over to the frying pan. We're going to add some bay leaves into things. I've got two pans here. The one on the left is going to be for the milder chicken dish, and I've got some coconut oil in here. You can be generous with this to get the best flavor. And I'm just going to start frying these bay leaves. This is going to be my pan for the spicy lamb. So just let that get going, start melting. A lot of times coconut oil is hard if it's at room temperature, so you've got to get it heated. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in the ginger, the shallots, and the garlic and start frying those. So one of the things you want to remember when you're cooking any type of Asian food, especially Indian food, is that rice takes a long time to cook, and rice is served with almost every single Indian meal. So I've got some white rice here. My favorite variety for Indian food would be basmati rice. You can also try jasmine rice, which is good with Thai food as well. But make sure you get this cooking first before you do everything else, because if you remember at the end, you're going to be waiting at least another 30 minutes or an hour for your rice to finish. Alright, so I'm going to do about half and half here. This would be roughly equal to one whole red onion or 2.5 shallots. Again, we're going to go half and half. This is our garlic. This will be very, very fragrant. You don't want to hold back on garlic. Most American recipes, they say 1 or 2 cloves, and we are using probably more like 12. And our fresh ginger. So what we want to do is go ahead and stir all of this around so that it gets coated with oil, and we want this to really cook down quite a bit. You may find that you don't have enough oil. You can add more oil, you can even add water, but we want this to cook down until it becomes sauce. You may not know that that happens, but it does. It will start becoming a sauce. The thick, good tasting stuff that you find in Indian food. If you don't want to have as much fat in your recipe, you can definitely add some water to keep things from burning, but keep your level of oil down. So now all we have to do is wait for this to start cooking. So if you take a peek at my pans right now, you can see that all of the shallots are translucent and the garlic starting to get a little bit of browning on it. And at this point we're going to add our curry paste that I made. Again, it's dried spices that I mixed with just a little water so they spread out evenly. Going to add this to the mix. Then for this particular recipe, I like to add tomato paste. If you have any like chicken tikka masala, they will have quite a bit of tomato paste and heavy cream in their recipes, or butter. And so I'm going to add that to both these. You can just use any brand out of a can. You can use real tomatoes too, but I find that the tomato paste in the can just has a little bit better flavor, you know, good processing. I say that as a joke, but it does taste good. And then in the spicy one with the lamb, these are some ghost chilies that I dried last year, and this will make it real hot. So we'll go ahead and start mixing this all together, and this is where Indian food starts happening. Now I should mention, if you're going to be making anything with ghost chilies, you won't want to do what I just did, and that is I mix which spoon I'm stirring with. Somebody could get hurt. Ghost chilies are one of the hottest chilies in the world, so you want to be careful. But if you like spicy food and you want an adventure, definitely give it a try. Habaneros are also one of my favorites to add to this. Okay, so we're going to let that cook a little more. So this is just proof that I know what I'm talking about with Indian food. Got my little Indian girl here, my wife. Alright, so this particular recipe is very rich, and one of the things you'll find with some of your favorite Indian food in restaurants and in India is that they use butter and heavy cream. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, and if you're cooking this at home, you'll definitely smell the difference when you start adding this. I'm going all out here for flavor. This is good stuff. Again, if you've had anything like a chicken tikka masala or really creamy curry, chances are the flavor that you tasted was tomato paste and heavy cream and butter. As you're cooking this, don't worry about cooking this too long. You can turn your heat down low. You really want all the flavors to blend together. You can let this sauce develop for quite a long time. It really depends on how fast you want to have dinner, but the longer you let this just simmer, the better it's going to taste. So when the sauce is ready to go, you're ready to add meat to it, it's going to look something like this. I mean, it'll look very much not like onions and ginger and garlic. It'll look like a gravy, and in some cases you'll start to see the oil separate from the rest of the ingredients. That's when you know it's good, it's tasty, it's ready. So we're going to go ahead and add the chicken and the lamb to these dishes and then cook it. If you haven't tried lamb before, really encourage you to give it a try. It shines the most in Indian food. Really unique flavor, very strong flavor, but it's one of my favorite things to eat. Now what do you do between cooking moments? You dance! So, as you're cooking, make sure that you stir everything so that nothing gets burned. And at this point, now that you have meat in here, it is possible to cook too long. You don't want to let your meat get completely burned. The sauce is what you want to cook for a long time, but the meat you don't want to cook for too long. One of the ways that you can help things cook better all the way through and also keep your sauce from evaporating is to put a cover on it. If you don't have a cover that fits your pan, you can use foil, or they sell these nifty rubber ones now, but that'll just help seal in the moisture so you still have lots of good sauce for your meat and to put over your rice. This is the goodness. things will start looking like this one is done. Just make sure your meat is cooked all the way through, but you want to make sure that you don't overcook it, otherwise it gets tough. So here we have it. This is the finished product. We got our lamb on the left, our chicken on the right. You can tell the lamb is a darker color, one because it's a red meat, but also because there are red chilies and red chili powder in there. I recommend putting a few herbs on top. I like to put some coriander, cilantro leaves, and put some lemon juice on the top too. It just gives it this really nice fresh taste. So, enjoy.